Like every employer, we are perplexed by the question of vaccinations in the workplace. It is just so confusing. This is not an opinion piece. It's not a legal piece. It's just the conundrum that all employers are facing. And I personally received over 10 emails, calls, and questions from clients and employers across the country asking about this great mystery. So the question here is, we as an employer, we want to protect the safety of all of our employees, and we want to know who has been vaccinated, because it's our legal responsibility under worker safety to know that our workers are safe and that we have to actively participate in their safety. But at the same time, I can't ask my employees who's been vaccinated because it is private, it is personal, and in Canada, we protect the privacy in terms of the rights and freedoms of each individual to be private. And at the same time, if I'm going to plan for my return to office, I need to know who's able to travel across the borders and who's been vaccinated to do so. I need to know if I'm on a manufacturing line, who can stand next to the other person, masked or unmasked. Or if it's in the office, what's the status in an open setting of who's been vaccinated. So at the same time as all that, I can't tell any Canadian what to put in their body, because if they have a medical condition, they might not be able to take a vaccination. And further, they may have religious reasons or personal reasons why they simply don't feel comfortable putting a vaccination in their body, and it's impossible for them to do so. So here I'm hiring somebody new. Can I screen them on their vaccination status? Because I'm trying to plan for my business for a return to office. However, I can't ask them because of privacy and human rights. And then I'm left in this turmoil. Do I respect the privacy and the human rights of the individual and the ethics around that? Or is it the right of every person to know who's been vaccinated so that they can feel comfortable in their on-site work or business travel or other activities like, interviews and scrums and business meetings? How do we know around these vague labor laws and ethics? So employers everywhere are guessing what to do. And if they create an employment policy, the problem is that the employment policy would read like this. We hope you've been vaccinated, and because that would help us protect the safety. However, you don't have to tell us you've been vaccinated. And if you do tell us you've been vaccinated, we don't know how we could store it or who we can tell. And it could be a privacy breach, so we might not want to know. But if we know, we actually can't discriminate against you or actually hold it against you in any format if you haven't. And we actually are not expecting you to be vaccinated, but if you are, we'd really like to know. It's like, what kind of policy is that? That's a really challenging policy to have. So other employers have said to us, some of our clients have said, look, we're doing a mask or vax. So if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you haven't been vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. And then others have said, we're going to do rapid testing, but we're only going to do rapid testing for those who haven't been vaccinated. But then that creates this whole two-tier system. And that's kind of an uncomfortable position to be in too, because it reveals to everyone who's been vaccinated, who hasn't been vaccinated. And that could be a really uncomfortable position for the employee to feel that they're part of a two-tier system in Canada, when we like to respect every person's private and confidential information in the workplace. So another confusing point there is just our neighbors to the south, because they are a little bit more perhaps assertive in the way they address these type of issues, and our values and laws protect certain things that may not be quite as protected, and they can mandate a lot of different things. So we have, multinational corporations who are trying to determine like how to treat the US, how to treat Canada, and nothing is very clear here. So I'm very hopeful for the future. I have hope. I have hope for careers. I have hope for our country and for the future and everything that we can bring to it. At the same time, I have no idea what kind of employment clarity we have to create any kind of business planning on any business activity in a climate where we simply don't know. And so if you'd like to read more about our lack of clarity in these times of lack of clarity, we have an article that you can read that is not very clear. So that's really interesting. And if you have an idea or you have a thought or anything that would be helpful or instructive to us, we're really interested in hearing it. We'd like to know how we can navigate a policy or a future that's a little bit easier to live into if you have an idea. So please share. Thanks.